This is a British Army command tent from the Cold War. Well, Cold War era. It's actually from the Cold War. So these command tents, they're roughly sometimes called a 9x9. These go on eBay in the UK for between £300 and £500. Then this roller flap here is pretty cool. You can reverse a Land Rover Defender up to the back of this, which I've never done. And this kind of envelope stuff, it all fits around and tensions up. And the idea is that the signals, Land Rover, with the gear in it, and a commander can come in here and orchestrate things. And they would typically have fold-up chairs, a table here with some maps and whatever. It'd be really cool, wouldn't it? And some HF gear and whatever else. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I've had this for about 10 years. It was actually given to me. Apparently they're worth, quite a lot of money. This has been kind of repaired at the Army Depot, I guess, where there's a patch here. There's a patch here, and they put one on the inside as well. Look, nice strong patch. That is not a patch. They're also quite easy to put up inside out. And I will tell you a funny story. The first time I used this on my own, I put it in inside out. It works perfectly. The only difference is that these windows, which are on kind of poppers, right? The windows, I was looking at these windows for hours. I thought, you know what? I need a seamstress or something to unpick these windows and put them on the right way out, because the tent was inside out, but you wouldn't know it, would you? It's a heavy cotton. Sometimes I think they're waxed periodically. I don't know. This one's been beaten up. And funnily enough, when it starts to rain, and it does leak a bit, but actually after an hour, all the cotton, it soaks up and then it just starts rolling off the top. But the construction's really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it down and show you how it's made, because with two guys with experience, it's about a 7 or 8 minute deployment. It's quite heavy. You can't backpack this. You've got to put it, in the back of the car. But jolly good fun. I'm just going to slip it all off. I think they call this a mud skirt around the outside. It's all very good. And then you don't tension it from the outside. You pin it from the inside. Well, you pin it from the inside. I've had it up for about a week now, and it did rain yesterday, but it's all dried off now, so I can pack it all away. So, okay, well, let's pack it away. One of the reasons these smell very often is because they're put away damp all the time. But I like to put it away dry. So I'm just turning it the right way out, and I'm going to lay it completely flat. So I find when it's completely flat, I can roll it really tightly and put it away in its bag. It's a bit like folding a piece of paper, If you just scrunch it up, it's huge. If you fold it really carefully, you can make it small, There was probably an instruction manual which went with these years ago, which told you how to, park it. I've just developed my own system. I get the original bag and sort of measure it. I think we need that in thirds, not in half. 1, 2, just about. If you actually were a squaddy once, and you were in the British Army, putting these things up and down, tell me if there's a system I've got wrong. Or am I getting it in the main right? So I'm just measuring the overall length now. Will fit in that bag, it will. So it's just a case of rolling it up. So it now becomes this heavy lump. And ideally you want 2 people here, I've noticed, but there's only one of me, so I'll just go steady Eddie. I pity those poor souls in the middle of Germany doing a practice, you know. There's Kevin from Uplands Farm. So that was my original field. That's where the ex-commander started from. And as luck would have it, that when we found Holly Farm, it turns out all the sheep in that field were the sheep that I watched being born from the workshop window about 3 miles away. We absolutely had to leave because there was a idiotic, Kevin's biggest tenant actually, was convinced, I was no telling him, that if I transmitted, like at the weekend, the electricity and the RF could stay in the wires and everything and cause a problem with his POS terminal and his credit card thing on a Wednesday, right? He absolutely blew his top about this. And I said, well, if that's the case, how can I live stream? Because I was borrowing his internet, right? He knew this, you know, I made a little Wi-Fi thing. I was borrowing his internet. If I'm causing problems to the internet, how is it I can live stream? He said, oh yeah, but I mean, it's all absorbed and it'll all come back days later. Utter nutter. And it's people like that, of course, who make decisions about, you know, the tin hat brigade. Kevin is coming to talk to me.
That's not one of them dodgy cameras, is it?
It's dodgy, certainly dodgy, yeah. Where are they all going now?
They're all going up round the corner.
Okay. Now, not part of this kit, it's all the way down. But what I did buy was a little aftermarket ground sheet thing. It's not waterproof. It conforms to some British law about ground sheets. I don't understand. So it now weighs 1.5 tons. Well, weighs the same actually, but it feels like 1.5 tons. But if I pack it right, I can get this in here as well. And it looks like I've packed it right. And I don't know how this was connected originally, but I've got my own little system. Oh. Right, let's get this wireframe thing down. You can see that the connections have these standardised little castings. They're really good. All mine are complete. Some of them have been repaired, you know. I don't know who designed this, so I think it's a brilliant design. I'd buy another one in a heartbeat, I really would. Apart from the tubes, you get 6 of these, and I think 3 of these, and then these tubes. It's just such a lovely design. Legs come with a little T-piece on the bottom, obviously. But I put them in last, otherwise they can cause difficulty when you're trying to put everything away, you know. Roof sections are slightly smaller than the longitudinal sections, but I don't care. I just put them all in, you know. Then we got the problem of getting all the bits in. I can never quite ever work out what goes in first. They also did something called a 12 by 12, which are a really nice size. I think it's at least 2 or 3 men. And then they doubled in size. I think it was a 24 or 26 by 26, and that's like a, you know, 6-man deployment. I mean, you can bolt, you know, like 4 or 5, you know, build a huge mess hall, things like that. But that would be really heavy. I've never seen one. I've seen a 12 by 12. I thought, wow, what a fantastic size that is. But it'd be too much, you know, for one person. All these wires that come out of the shed here are now the wrong length to get to the bottom of the tower. So we got to kind of tease them all out the grass, out the roots, and shift them a few feet here and there. All right, so that'll be fun. Anyway, that's a Cold War tent. Nothing to do with ham radio, because that's what I use it for. But hopefully you found that relatively enjoyable. All the best now. Bye for now. This is the infamous command tent used by commanders in the Cold War. And it used to sit on the back of a Land Rover. Let's just wait for this bloody aircraft. This is the amazing British Army command tent as used in the Cold War.